I done did the whole formula. I done sat down, I done blocked the world out, I done put the worship music on. I'm in the room crying. I'm knowing after this, bro, like, bro, God about to elevate me. And the whole time, bro, 30, 45 minutes, God didn't say nothing. And then at the end of that, you really gotta, like, okay, now you look dumb, you done cried. God ain't said nothing. But you know, God, it's almost like God looking at me like, girl, you look dumb.
Listen,
He ain't saying
so
nothing.
I'll tell you the moment
like,
that, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
That shook me out of that. Again, going back, they know my story, but I lost my daughter, so I was going with, like, in the early stages of grief. And I was, praying, and I had to be okay. Now, I remember I wrote this article. I said, I'm very careful not to give the doctors too much credit for what they did or didn't do or couldn't do, because at the end of the day, God could do whatever he wants. Mm-hmm. But one of the things, and I went back to, with Daniel and the fiery furnace and the Hebrew boys and all that stuff and Lion's Den stuff, and just thinking. But the question I landed on was, what is your faith in? Is your faith in God or the strength of your own prayers? Because you could say, God help me, and that could be like, you don't need nothing articulate, just like whatever the need is. But some people think because they have these grandiose prayer and worship, and they cried and laid and all that different stuff. And I'm not saying that those aren't true moments for people, because absolutely some of them are. But the more you do that doesn't necessarily equal the amount God will move on your behalf. He will hear anybody like, hey, God, bro, listen. The Cat Williams play that's floating around, Lord, this is just like,
I'm over there like, Jesus, this is your humble servant, Lord. There's clearly been a miscommunication, Jesus. Just saying this burden is a little bit too heavy for your servant, Lord. If you could just remove this boulder off a nigga's back, Jesus, I'd really appreciate it, Lord. I'm just saying, Jesus, my cup runneth over, Lord, is what I'm saying. And thing is,